On today's Andy and Ari on 3, Kayce Smith, our friend from Barstool, joins us to talk about her alma mater, Texas A&M, in the college football playoff. How much pressure is on the Aggies right now that they've finally made it into this elite club? Do they have to move on to truly earn everyone's respect? Plus, we get into a little Lane Kiffin hot yoga conversation. It's wild. Also, little Dear Andy, Dear Ari. Your questions answered. Great question from Brad on whether Ohio State should be worried about its quarterfinal matchup. Plus, an unbelievable dilemma for one of our listeners as they try to watch their alma mater play in the college football playoff while at the in-laws for a holiday dinner. It's going to get pretty messy. We'll talk about it all today on Andy and Ari on 3, presented by BetMGM. We are presented by BetMGM. We use BetMGM lines and totals. And you can join us by joining BetMGM. If you have not signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code CFB, as in college football, CFB, and you'll get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how that works. Download the BetMGM app and sign on using the bonus code CFB. Deposit at least $10 to place your first wager on any game. You'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use the bonus code CFB when you're signing up. So download the app, deposit at least $10, place your first wager, up to $1,500 if your first bet loses. Use the bonus code CFB when you sign up. Make this college football season one for the history books. Make it legendary with BetMGM. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. U.S. promotional offers are not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. Call 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. Call 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa or 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code CFB and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. Welcome to Andy and Ari on 3, presented by BetMGM. And Ari, we have a very special guest today, Kayce Smith from Barstool, one of my favorite Aggies. And I can't wait for you to unleash your Texas A&M catchphrase on her.
Go get 'em, Aggs. She's my second favorite Aggie.
That's true. You are married to an Aggie. I'm glad you got that cleared up.
Yeah.
We do have a little housekeeping before we get to Kayce, because there is a lot of these availability reports can be very newsy at times. And so we got the initial reports for the Miami Texas A&M game. We got the initial report for Tulane Ole Miss, the initial report for Oregon James Madison, and an update on Alabama Oklahoma. So for Miami Texas A&M, Keontae Scott, the DB from Miami, probable. So that's good news for the Canes. Le'Veon Moss listed questionable on the A&M report. If he plays, that's probably a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
The thought, I think, was that A&M, later in the season when they were talking about that, late in the regular season, the thought was they were going to have a bye. So if they had a bye, then Le'Veon Moss would probably be ready by that quarterfinal game. So it's a little bit touch and go here, but who knows if they have a two-headed monster at tailback, that's potentially dangerous for the Aggies against the Canes. One note on the Alabama-Oklahoma game, Josh Cuevas, the tight end for Alabama, upgraded from questionable to probable, and Oklahoma running back Javonte Barnes upgraded from probable to available.
Has anybody in the history of football been listed as probable and then left and then not played in the game?
Probably once or twice in the NFL, but I don't think it's all that normal. I think once you're in the probable zone, yeah. One interesting one, the James Madison Oregon one. So DeCorian Moore, Gary Bryant Jr., and Evan Stewart. So essentially Oregon's best three non-Kenyan Sadiq pass catchers. That they're all listed as questionable. I don't know how many are going to play. Evan Stewart's been out all season, obviously. He got hurt in the spring. DeCorian Moore and Gary Bryant Jr. got hurt during the season. I don't know that it matters if they play in this game, but if they're all questionable for this game, that means they're probably playing in the Orange Bowl.
Right. Because that's what, 2 extra weeks?
A week and a half. Yeah.
10 days. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a pretty fair conclusion to jump to.
So very interesting. So keep that in mind as you fill out your brackets beforehand. If you're trying to figure out a dark horse potential national champ, just remember Oregon's offense could be pretty explosive with those guys all back. So it's going to be fun. This is such an intriguing playoff. We talked about Alabama and Oklahoma at length yesterday. The other big game this weekend, Texas A&M Miami, and the psychic weight of this game on Texas A&M is utterly fascinating to me because these guys have been trying to get in this club forever. They're in the playoff now, and they have this chance. So we, of course, brought on one of our friends, Kayce Smith, who is a Texas A&M grad, to explain exactly where the Aggie fan base is. And Ari is going to try out his custom A&M catchphrase on her. I don't know how this is going to go. Here's Kayce. We're joined now by Kayce Smith. You can find her on Unnecessary Roughness, the Barstool College Football podcast, also the Barstool College Football Show, and the Pro Football Show, which I never get the title right, but I did this time.
Yeah, 2 footballs. You have to really get into the Barstool lore for why it is 2 footballs. I don't even remember, but it was PFT Commenter that named it, of pardon my take. So he surely had a genius reason why there's 2 footballs in there, but we roll with it.
Well, and his team is playing the college football playoff. He's a James Madison grad, so he gets what he wants right now.
Yeah, we're being nice to him about that. I actually just got done recording Unnecessary Roughness, and it was one of those things where, we say what we want, but it's like we really are kind of wasting 2 spots on these 2 G5 teams, and it needs to be, a little bit revamped. I'll say it, guys, like we are, but they are there. So JMU and Tulane fans can say, hey, whatever, you might think we're wasting it, but we're still playing, and then on Sunday they can just stop talking and keep it moving.
I really struggle with this because we are all for college football inclusion and we want everybody to feel welcome and everybody to be a part of the system. But then we spent 41 seconds previewing those games. So
it's tough. And it is, and it's also, when you look at the scheduling for this upcoming weekend, you've got Alabama, Oklahoma Friday night, and then you have A&M and Miami at Kyle Field at 11 a.m. local, 12 o'clock Eastern. And then you have those 2 games, and it's very hard to get excited about, Oregon and Ole Miss just basically having buys. And in all seriousness, there have been teams in the past from the G5 that deserve to be in it, like UCF in 2018, whatever that was. They deserve to be there. There should absolutely be a path to the playoff for a G5 team. The auto bid has to go. And then the mess that the ACC was this year, and I understand the ACC was not very good, but to get a second G5 team in as opposed to the ACC champion, I do think that that's a disservice to the playoff. However, I'm a big 12-team playoff person, so I'm happy it's there. It just kind of sucks.
If Cincinnati got in the 4-team era, you do not have to guarantee a G5 team a spot.
Right.
In the years where they're worthy, they will certainly be able to get into the top 12, and then it works itself out. The years 100%. Where they have one, I'm with you on that. I buy that.
And that's why it's I'm not, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I mean, I'll be nicer on your show because you guys are much more polite people than we are on Unnecessary Roughness. But I do think that this year is a prime example. And we're only in year 2 of the 12-team playoff, but it's a prime example of why we should not have these automatic bids because, 2 20-point dogs. We know what happened the first time that Ole Miss and Tulane played. JMU playing against Oregon. I mean, it's not going to be exciting, but it is what it is. And those fan bases and those teams can be excited for that. But I hope that changes sooner than later.
I feel like you're having an easier time unloading though, Kayce, because your alma mater is in the field
100%.
And you are an Aggie.
Mm-hmm. I am. Oh no. What's about to happen right now?
Ari, are you going to say it?
Go get them, Eggs! That's what they sound like
every day. It's not what they say. His wife graduated from A&M, and he still doesn't know what they say.
Go get him, Ags.
It's the combination. I created this in my brain, and I don't know why it happened, but I think I have an explanation for how it happened. Which is,
I'd like to hear it.
like the beginning of like the way that yell leaders speak. And then it's also the end of it is like gigamags. So it's kind of like a combination of those two things.
So you do know that it's gig 'em, but you still say go get 'em.
Yeah. And I scream it at my wife in the kitchen every week.
And I'm sure she loves
she's getting kind of tired of it.
I
but you know what?
See why.
But like the thing is that like A&M is back or they're here. And like, if you can't celebrate it in your own house with your Aggie cult wife, then like, who are you? You know what I mean? Like I'm here. And like, I actually feel really good about this because I feel like I was one of the first people to nationally diagnose this team as different than the years in the past. And I'm just curious what your take is. How soon did you put away your battered Aggie syndrome? And when did you start accepting that this could be different?
Well, that's a tough question. Your wife would probably say the same thing, is that I put it away pretty early. It was after the Notre Dame game. I for sure put it away, even all the way down to the very last snap of that game. I was still not sure we were going to win. And we know how, whether it was the misholding call or the botched extra point, there was a phantom holding call on one of the touchdowns Marcel Reed had. That to me was the moment I was like, okay, this team is different. This team is for real, because a team like A&M in the past, especially in my lifetime, post Johnny Manziel, would not have won that game in South Bend. The issue then became leading up to Thanksgiving weekend, knowing that you're going on the road to Austin. It's the heated rival with Texas. That game growing up was the bane of my existence. I cried quite literally every single Thanksgiving when I'd have to go to school and face my Texas fan friends. And it flared back up after that game. And that to me is where it was like, okay, I understand how good this team is. Mike Elko is a completely different coach than Jimbo Fisher was and the coaches we've seen in the past. And it just felt like, okay, here we go again. That was dead Saturday night after the loss against Texas, because it was like, you know what? That was a tough game. Marcel did get hurt. That was a bad second half of football. And I believe that this team is as good as I believe they were when they left South Bend. And I don't care about the whole argument of, they played all the lower teams in the SEC. And that may be true statistically, but that's not A&M's fault. We didn't know that LSU was going to be as bad as they were. We didn't anticipate Florida being as bad as they were, and so on and so forth. So to be 11-0 going into that game against Texas, that to me said this is for real. And that's why I have so much confidence in them on Saturday against Miami. But the battered Aggie syndrome flares. It always flares. That's part of being an Aggie.
How much does Texas A&M need to win this, especially because they lost to Texas, but also they've been dying to get into the college football playoff. And we thought this was a team that could make the 4-team college football playoff quite a few times, and it never
should have
quite
been
worked
2020,
out
by
that
the
way.
They should have been there in 2020, but
nothing happened. Nothing happened in 2020 that actually counted.
That's true.
That's Devontae Smith in Alabama.
Yeah, in
that's all
2020,
that matters.
Billy Lucci and I got into a very public and downright disrespectful Twitter argument over that. And
I did not know that, but it doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
Yeah, it was personal attacks, and we've become friends since. But we didn't know each other. It just got very heated. And I remember I was in Cabo with my wife watching the national title game, and I was arguing with Billy Lucci in our hotel room as I watched it.
You'll never guess where I brokered the peace between them, Kayce.
Was it Fuego?
It was Republic.
Oh, well, even better. Okay, I know you and I are Fuego people. I'm actually going to the Republic on Friday night for the first time since 2016. I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
It was good. I remember it was really good.
But Ari, I will say that what you just described is the epitome of Twitter, because it's very easy to throw attacks and insults when you don't know somebody, and then you meet them in person. You're like, oh, I actually kind of really like you. I'd like to take it all back.
Yeah,
I get it. Hey, Justin Herbert fans hate me right now. I am deep into the Twitter hate, so I get it.
I saw that, by the way. Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah,
I saw the replies too. Yeah.
Oh, I see. This is the thing too, and don't tell anybody. I know people definitely aren't gonna do it more. I don't read a single thing on Twitter. I have every filter available where I only see people that I follow. So all the people yelling at me are yelling into the void. So keep it going, boys. Thank you.
Yeah. Kirk Herbstreit told us the same thing last year, and then everybody just attacked him. So
yeah, no, it's for sure.
Sorry.
Listen, they've gotten my work email. They're in the Instagram DMs, and I'm just like, I just don't care.
The Instagram DMs freak me out. Some
bad.
people are really nice and are totally cool, but I just it's too close to my personal existence. Yell at me on Twitter.
Yeah, no, but Twitter is not real life, which goes back to you and Lucci arguing about it. It's like then you meet him in real life. I did get a guy that was very upset about Justin Herbert, which I didn't know Justin Herbert had so many fans. He emailed my work email to tell me to get a job, which I did find very ironic. It's like, you are quite literally emailing my employee email. But regardless, in 2020, like going back to A&M, like that was, and I do think that they made the right decision. That was a devastating thing to see that they got left out of the 14 playoff. But this is exactly what Mike Elko was brought in to do. And to, regardless, you don't ever want to lose to your arch rival, ever, ever, ever. And I do think that there is, people can say it's a spin zone. But I do think that there is a thing about being battle tested and being punched in the face, and not only being punched in the face by somebody you definitely don't want to get hit by, and having to hear about it and having to relive those moments in Austin. So I think having the extra week to get healthy and Marcel get a little bit of rest from the injury he did get in Austin, like that to me as an Aggie is something to be able to spin positively, which is why I wasn't down so bad for a very long time.
Two things about that though. One, the worst possible thing that could have happened, and it felt like was happening for 90 seconds, is he blows his knee out and he's done for the year.
Correct.
In the rivalry game. So like from that standpoint, it kind of feels like, at least that didn't happen. House money. But two, if only there was a recent example of a team that lost to its rival on the last week of the year and then bounced back in the playoff. It's not over yet. I just think that from my standpoint, I'm having a hard time, truly, I know they're good and I know they're not a fake team or whatever. But because they had an advantageous schedule, and then when the first time they played a team that was in the playoff cusp or mix, they lost, that would scare me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I do, I know it was week 3 or whatever early in the season. I do think that, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying just kind of the general college football public, like beating Notre Dame in South Bend. Like, I feel like people forget about that a little bit, but you're right. You're absolutely right. You play Texas, and again, anytime those two teams and any, whether it's Ohio State, Michigan, whether it's Florida, Miami, Florida State, Miami, any of those teams, like you're going to see some different things happen. I mean, the Iron Bowl. I mean, there was a point where I thought Alabama was going to lose to Auburn again this year, and they fired Hugh Freeze halfway through the season. So I do, when you look at this matchup, just from a straight, statistical standpoint, the one thing that we've seen with Miami and we saw in their 2 losses was Carson Beck turning the ball over. Had 4 interceptions in one game, 2 in the other. And he is a guy who I believed in coming into the season saying, okay, I think the change of scenery from Georgia is going to make him better, but he gets rattled very easily. And when you look at this A&M front 7 and you look at what we're able to do, we're tied with Oklahoma for the most sacks in the country this year. I was saying all day we were number 2. I thought we had 1 less than Oklahoma. I was corrected. We are tied at number 1. So I think that if A&M can rattle Carson Beck early in the game, get that atmosphere behind A&M, that's really where it's going to be won. The only other thing that scares me about A&M's defense is we don't take the ball away very often. We don't have very many takeaways. So if that is going to change, it needs to change quickly. But this team, whether people want to say it's fraudulent, whether you want to look at the schedule, the one thing as an Aggie, and I'm sure your wife would say this too, Ari, is that we're so used to teams giving up. And when you look at that South Carolina game, which was one of the most abysmal first halves of football I've ever seen, my entire lifetime, that A&M team does not come out of the locker room and win that game. This team does not go 11-0, and that's the difference to me. It's the culture that Mike Elko has created, and also there's NFL talent on both sides of the ball. So whether I'm a biased Aggie or not, I think that those mistakes can be corrected. But Miami's very good, and when Carson Beck wants to play really well, he can. I just think you got to rattle him, and I think he spirals.
That's what I love about this game, though, because this is not your daddy's Aggies or even the Aggies of you when you were in college, Kayce.
Or my granddaddy's Aggies. Like this is, this is different.
But this is also not the what we've seen from Mario Cristobal's Hurricanes over the years, where they faded down the stretch. Like they got much better as November went on, started playing some freshmen who started making some big contributions. Like these two teams are kind of hitting at the right time. For A&M, because they've been wanting to be in this club, wanting to be a team that competes for national titles annually. How important is it to advance in this thing?
I think from a narrative standpoint, and you guys know this being in sports media, you hate using the word narrative too much, but as soon as we lost to Texas, the narrative immediately became this was a fraudulent team. See, hey, we told you so. And if A&M loses to Miami, even if it's a close game at home, after all the hype they had all year, that's immediately like, see, this was a product of their schedule. They were a fine SEC team. They weren't a good SEC team, and they definitely weren't an SEC championship caliber team. That's why this is so important. And I think moving forward, forward. We know Marcel Reed's coming back. Mike Elko signs the extension and all of that. I think in the locker room, they probably feel even more strongly about it. Like, hey, we need to go out and prove how tough we are. But from a fan base, that is where, the quote battered Aggie syndrome comes in, because that's all you're going to hear about. If they lose to Miami, especially if it gets ugly early, it's gonna be like, well, see, you just guys played an easy schedule all year, and you never want to have that. But I think that Mike Elko and a lot of conversation around Tommy Moffitt, throughout the year, with how much he has really impacted this team, and the strength and the culture and the toughness, like that to me is why I'm not as worried about that narrative, because I do think they're going to come out and they'll be like, that second half in Austin was absolutely horrible. We're not going to let that happen in front of our home crowd. We're not going to let it happen again.
I think I'm like not with you in the sense that they have to win. I feel like if Texas A&M was a fraudulent team, there was plenty of opportunity for them to shit their pants this year, and they didn't do it.
The South Carolina game. I mean, that was
even if they
disgusting.
lose a close game to Miami, like I feel like making the playoff is a nice step in the right direction. Like try to picture yourself at the end of January, and when you look back at the way the playoff plays out, by the time we get to the semis and the national championship game and then through it, who advanced to the second round isn't as important as it feels right now. I think the fact that they're in the field and they advanced to 11-0 and did something is a great building block. And I'm not saying that they're not worthy or they can't advance past the first or even second round. I think that they would be a really tough matchup for Ohio State, but I don't know that the season's blown if they don't win on Saturday.
I think Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, you're right.
No, I was going to say, no. That's my fault. I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm again used to my toddler, Brandon Walker. So that's, if that happens, please know I'm not meaning to treat you that way. I agree with you rationally. And I think that that's where, the online storylines and online commenting is where it would change, because you do have to see it. You do have to hear it. But yes, making the college football playoff and having an 11-1 season is absolutely a building block. And beating Miami says we were a real team all year, which we were. And don't get me wrong, 11-1, regardless, when you're in the SEC or the Big Ten or really any of the Power Four conferences you are. I just think from a confidence standpoint, losing to Texas the way that we did and then losing in the first round would suck. But you're right, in the grand scheme of things, no one's going to look at it. But I would look at Tennessee last year. Tennessee was there, but they get their doors blown off. And it's you do have to look back at certain things. But in the grand scheme of things, making it is absolutely a stepping block, because we haven't done that before.
Mm-hmm. Our producer when is a Tennessee grad, and when you said that, he just covered his face. He just let's Kayce, let's talk that 8-9 game. You just mentioned the 8-9 game from last year, Tennessee, Ohio State. The 8-9 game this year, Alabama going to Norman. What do you think happens there?
Oh, well, I would ask you guys, because we just had this conversation about, and again, no disrespect to JMU and Tulane, but I'm gonna just have to nicely disrespect them. That game, you preview it for 45 seconds. When you look at Alabama OU or Miami A&M, which one are you guys more excited to watch?
A&M Miami.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's I feel like that's the way that everybody is talking right now, because it's there's almost a fatigue with Alabama OU, and you look at the way that Alabama played down the stretch, and even though I'm my team plays in the SEC, I was very much on board, and I calmed down a little bit after the SEC championship after a couple days passed, but I was very much saying I didn't think Alabama should make it in because of the way they played down the stretch. For an Alabama team to be as one-dimensional as they've looked all year, and when you look at this Oklahoma defense and how good that front seven is, just to know that Alabama's rushing game is essentially non-existent for most of the season, there's just, I don't know, there's this dark cloud over it, which should not happen. I mean, this is a home game in Norman, Oklahoma, featuring Alabama, and albeit it's not Nick Saban's Alabama, but still there's something about this game that's just kind of we've seen it already. We've seen it this year, and I hope it's a fantastic game, but there's just something about it that just doesn't seem to pop. I do think Oklahoma wins, but it's kind of just I don't know.
Is it the people in Ann Arbor who think if Alabama loses, that Alabama's coach is just going to take the first flight?
Yes, absolutely. Right. No, the coaching situation, watching Kalen DeBoer. I mean, even after, waiting, Lane waiting to decide he's going to go to LSU after the Egg Bowl. I mean, the Egg Bowl and the Iron Bowl. I don't really know what it is. And maybe it is because it's my teams there. I mean, you alluded to that earlier, Andy. It's like my team is in the playoffs, so I'm not going to be as excited for any other game. But I mean, what do you guys think? Because when you look at this Oklahoma team and you look at how steady they really have been, their defense has been why? Because that offense, and I know John Mateer got hurt, and that's fine, but their offense has not been good at all. Their defense has really kept them going. And then when you look at Alabama, their defense has played, pretty well all year too. And this Alabama offense has just left a lot to be desired. So I don't really know what to really think about it. But I mean, what do you guys think?
I think if you shuffled up those seedings by one, both the teams that are going to play in College Station would beat both the teams that are playing in Norman, no matter how you set up the matchups.
I could agree with that. I mean, I am also one of those people that's like, anytime you see Alabama, you're going to get a little bit scared, but that's because my brain, looks at Nick Saban. And I'm not saying, Kalen DeBoer is a bad coach. There's something about Alabama being soft. And I know that that's not a me take. That's a take that's been, just resonated throughout college football this year, but they just don't play with that same toughness that we've seen from them in, over the last couple of decades. And then you look at Oklahoma and how they were able to really get a monkey off their back too, because they come into the SEC a couple seasons ago and Texas immediately makes waves and they were so bad. And it's like, okay, well, what's Venables going to do? Is he really the guy for this? And now they are also in the college football playoff. That is a massive step for them. Who comes out of that? I don't know, but I don't think that either one of these teams has, national title power.
Right. Neither one can run the ball. And I would have a hard time picking somebody to win 4 games in this tournament if you can't run the ball.
Yeah. But also if you want to pick a quote weaker side of the bracket, they would. I mean, because when you look at, what A&M would have to do, like, let's just say hypothetically, they beat Miami, then you've got Ohio State, then you probably have Georgia. And then you look at the other side and it's like, and I'm not taking anything away. I mean, Indiana is unbelievable. And I was one of the people very loudly, especially at this company, saying like, why are we saying Ohio State so much better than Indiana? But, Texas Tech being there too, there's a little bit, I wouldn't say it's a big gap by any stretch, but I don't see Oklahoma or Alabama beating Indiana. But
I think it's fair to say the right side of the bracket's tougher than the left. I think that's completely fair.
And again, maybe it's my bias because I'm there, but I mean, the one team I do not want to see right now, and I think that a lot of people would agree, that's like, I think Georgia is absolutely horrifying. I think that what we've seen with them down the stretch, and I mean, obviously Indiana and Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, like that was a heavyweight title fight, and they both look really good. But Georgia is absolutely horrifying. And I think that that's why when I look at the other side of the bracket, it's a little bit easier. I just don't see Alabama or Oklahoma being able to make a run. But and I'll ask you guys the same question we just answered. Now, again, there are 8 teams, respectfully. Mm-hmm. Of the 6 teams that will advance, who do you guys think is the most likely that could win a national title?
I think A&M and so of the ones that are playing this weekend,
yes.
I think A&M and Miami are built for it, but I think Oregon has the best chance of them.
And
I think, because Ari and I have talked about this. Oregon is in the position Ohio State was in last year.
Yep.
Where they're going to get the warm-up game. Now, JMU is not what Tennessee was, but Ohio State made Tennessee look like a G5 team.
That's what happens when you come out.
Just watching producer River's face when I say that.
So, it's true though. You can't come out of the tunnel without wearing a shirt. Like that was, they lost the game and stuff that happened. The second
I don't know.
I'm like, these guys are going to get smoked when I saw
you can't do it.
Matt Hollins did it in the tunnel walk for the NFL games.
Yes.
I got to be real here. If I look like Matt Hollins, I'd never wear a shirt. So no matter
Matt
what.
Hollins also did no shoes, which is a new twist on the I'm a tough guy in the cold.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but also
frostbite's real.
I understand. Like, listen, if you got a body, show it. I say that for anybody. But has there ever been a time that we talk about a guy not wearing a shirt or a team not wearing a shirt that we're like, see, that's why they won. They were showing they were tough guys and in the cold. Never, ever. And I'm sure it's happened, but nobody talks about it. It's like, an offensive lineman that does his job. Like, you don't ever talk about how great of a job he did. You're just like, yeah, okay. But then when they really mess up, you talk about it. Just keep a shirt on, boys.
I was sitting next to Andy when those guys ran out of the tunnel. I don't know if you remember this, but I looked at him and I said, they're going to get their fucking ass kicked.
You're going to get the shit kicked out of you and you're going to look like an idiot doing it. Just keep your shirt on. It's fine. We know you're tough.
They weren't wearing a shirt. It was also how Ohio State was kind of laughing at them. Like, that was the other thing. They're like, are you trying to intimidate us right now? Like, that
we play in the cold.
Yeah. Like, this is.
We did that. That was absolutely that game. My having toddlers, like when I have one toddler and I don't know how people have multiple, my brain is just completely scrambled all the time. But we did the Barstool College Football Show in Columbus for that game. It was so cold. And I understand I'm not a football player. I understand, I haven't been like stretching and doing all my warm-ups. I was like, this isn't even a cool flex, guys. Like, this is like, you're just miserable right now. Why are you doing this?
Yeah. Sorry, River. We I don't know how we got onto this, but
River's like, please talk about Oregon. And okay, we were talking about Oregon.
Of that scene
I think Oregon is getting healthy at the right time. Mm-hmm. You had the news this week that Evan Stewart was practicing. DeCorian Moore is back healthy. Kenyon Sadiq, they got him back late in the season after losing him for a brief period to injury. Like, they are peaking at the right time. So that's the one I'd be scared of coming through the bracket. I'm excited because I've got the Orange Bowl. So I'm going to see Texas Tech against the Oregon JMU winner, which I assume is going to be Oregon. Mm-hmm. I think Oregon can go all the way. I think they can beat anybody in the bracket.
Yeah, Texas Tech's defense is scary for that. But I agree. Ari, I want to hear your answer too. My answer when Brandon asked me that was, of course, my heart is going to say A&M, and I gave the reasons why I think my heart would say A&M, and my brain says Oregon. When you look at offensively and defensively all year, and they've had their struggles, but they got punched in the mouth against an Indiana team and as high as I've been on Indiana all year, and I've been ringing the bell for why are we saying there's a gap between Ohio State and Indiana. I absolutely thought Oregon was going to win that game. I didn't think it was going to be easy, but when you look back at that now and Dan Lanning and how this team has progressed throughout the season, they are absolutely the team of the 6/8 that are playing this weekend that I would rationally with my brain say I think has the best chance to win the national title.
Yeah, it's not the exact same thing as the Ohio State path last year, but if Oregon gets by Tech, like the rematch against IU is going to probably be really good for them because they played them, to a fairly close game. I think this is a team that if I could go back and redo a bracket, I might put in the Final Four. But here's my other hot take, and I shared this with Andy on Wednesday's show. I think that whoever wins the Miami A&M game is going to give Ohio State every bit that it can handle because Ohio State can't run the ball real well. Mm-mm. And their offensive line has some issues. And like you have two teams that have really good front sevens on defense that might be able to like make them look a little bit more gettable on offense. So like, I wonder, from that standpoint, and here's the last one too, because we've all played the A&M Miami Oregon game, but Ole Miss played Georgia pretty good the first time they played. And I don't know, but sports are about feelings. And I don't know if you know this about me, Kayce, but I like feelings better than sports.
Okay.
Like, is there any
big feelings guy?
Yeah, I'm a big feelings guy. I love narrative. I love saying that word.
I say that to my 2-year-old all the time. I say, "Are we having big feelings right now?" I will say, "Are we having big feelings?" I say that to Ari
all the time.
Yeah.
I say it to Brandon. It's all toddlers. You guys are all the same, no matter the age.
Yeah. But what if does anybody? I haven't seen much of this on Twitter or in podcasts. I listen to a lot of college football stuff. What about the Golding galvanized team that feels like they were betrayed by a former coach? They kept all their players. They're fired up. Everybody love everybody. It's like, remember the Titans. Everybody's feeling good. You play that music and they just go beat Georgia. Is this not a team that could go on a run or are they just not equipped? You think is Ole Miss underappreciated right now?
I think they are. See, I'm almost on the opposite side of the big feelings train. I'm having big feelings, but on the other way, because I do think, when you look at Tulane, their coach is leaving. When you look at JMU, their coach is leaving. And what Ole Miss did, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely thought that if they knew Lane Kiffin was going to leave before the Egg Bowl, he shouldn't be on the sidelines because it was such a soap opera and drama. But I do wonder how many of these guys that are in Ole Miss uniforms right now are looking at the January 2nd date and saying, hey, the transfer portal is going to open up. I'm going to go to Baton Rouge. I'm going to go somewhere else. We don't necessarily know what the future is going to look like. That to me is more of where the feelings are. And because Tulane has played them and got embarrassed by them this year, I don't think Tulane can win the football game, but I do think that it's going to be closer than what we saw during the regular season because I think that the chaos surrounding Lane and Ole Miss was so much that a lot of these players are probably, and I'm not going to say they're checked out because that's not fair. There's still guys wanting to make money and wanting to make the next level and play in the NFL. But I almost feel like the drama could play at their a disadvantage, a disservice to them. And I don't think Tulane or JMU have any shot at winning these games. But if I had to pick a team, if I had with a gun to my head, I think Tulane is a better option than JMU. But maybe that's because I'm buying into the drama.
Here's the difference, though. The difference to me is Tulane and JMU like had amicable breakups with their partner
100%.
and Ole Miss got cheated on. Who's the first one in the gym when you get cheated on? The revenge body thing is real, right?
True.
Like, I don't know like if that's the right way to put it.
No,
like,
it is.
Ole Miss.
This is why him being all about feelings, this is where it works for you.
Yeah, but like
I you know what, as somebody who's gotten in the gym to get the revenge body in my dating history, I totally buy into that narrative. I guess my question is if some of these players want to get their revenge body to then go date LSU or go date somebody else, do they play for that uniform? And they're going to play. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying like there is an element to me of, they're going to go get that revenge body, but their revenge body might be coming on January 2nd, not necessarily this upcoming weekend.
Well, some people who get cheated on go back to their ex. I don't know what their motivation is going to be. My point is that if you're motivated to have a revenge body, if you're motivated to show good tape to get a better NIL deal, if you're motivated to show tape for the NFL, it doesn't matter what motivates you. But I was laughing at JD Backel's like, if they go on a run and win a national title, does Lane Kiffin get a ring? I would love to think about that and have a show about that, because like
you can't give him one. You can't.
You can't, right? No,
you can't give him one. No, like.
Right?
So here, this is the thing.
Or you say you're going to give him one, and you go to Baton Rouge to present it to him, and the second he thinks he's about to get it, you throw it in the Mississippi River and say, "Go find it."
But then he would like get his hot yoga skills, and he would take off his shirt and go down there and find it just to prove he could. Here's the thing: there are multiple storylines are true, and again, Ari, I'm also a big feelings person. I feel like. We know what Lane Kiffin did for Ole Miss, made them the best program they've ever had in school history, gave them all this run. But the way that breakup was, it's like you can have the best relationship in the world and you can really be great partners, but it's all about how the relationship ends when you in your brain. Like it's all about, hey, like thanks for putting me up there on the pedestal. And we really did well for 5 or 6 years. But you really fucked me up at the end. You really put me through a lot. And that's to me what happened. And you're absolutely right. With Tulane and with JMU, they were not only amicable breakups, it's like we know you're leveling up. We know you're saying going
through Christmas for the kids.
Yeah, and like you know what? You're bettering yourself. You know what? You're finding somebody that's better, that that's gonna amplify you and take your career. Lane was like, hey, that the relationship just down the road in Baton Rouge, that sounds great. And double middle fingers up, I'm gonna the hoe and the housewife thing. Like that to me is very very amazing as somebody that covers college football. But if you're Ole Miss, like you want to wash your hands of it.
Andy, I've been dying.
You guys have me in a blender here.
I've been dying to do this.
I'm now back to 5 years old or 6 years old, and when I had to go to Christmas or Christmas Eve, I don't even remember what day when it was, but after my parents' divorce at my dad's new wife's parents' house, like. Now I'm just imagining that's what this is going to feel like for everybody.
It's co-parenting. It's amicable. There's amicable co-parenting, and then there's bitter co-parenting. And that's kind of what we're looking at with these teams right now. You've got JMU and Tulane guys that are like, you know what? Daddy is going off and it's going to be amicable, but he's staying here to get us through this. Whereas Lane Kiffin's like, see ya. Like, I don't really care. And I don't necessarily blame him. I don't necessarily blame Ole Miss
for cigarettes and didn't come back.
Also with Lane Kiffin, and I've been dying to do this on our show, Andy, you got to let me do this.
Okay.
People who took hot Pilates with Lane Kiffin were tweeting about or posting about what he would do in the yoga classes, and I think it's hilarious. And I want.
Ari, you're gonna read this, and then I have some tea for you. So I know you're a tea guy now. I got some tea for you.
Oh boy!
But before we go on to the yoga class behavior, I needed to say
all of this allegedly. By the way, allegedly.
Andy's protecting us. I'm
winking.
And I appreciate that.
Yes, but allegedly.
Also, with
when he sues us, I'm dying for the discovery with the interviewing all the depositions of the hot yoga people.
We're not saying he did it. We're reading what people said he did. But before we do that,
how do you even know they were in a class with him?
I don't know, but it's hilarious to me.
I'm going to co-sign anything that Ari has to say right now because listen, we've covered this, and I have insider tea. Okay. Get your tea out.
The floor is yours. You guys go ahead.
Before we go to the yoga thing, I want to make one more point about the Christmas awkward breakup thing. What is the part of like some of his future staff members going back and coaching the team? Like, is that like the friends are trying to decide whose side they're on type of a deal? And Kayce, we're in the middle of watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So like, I'm like really into this he said, she said thing.
Okay.
Like that is another kind of atypical weird thing going on with like they broke up, but like, are you with us? Are you with them? Like it's kind of a strange dynamic.
So I don't watch that show. I've been told I need to, but I'm going to repeat to answer your question about the staff. And Brandon, I'm going to give Brandon credit, which I very rarely do. But Brandon said this on our show, which I do think is pretty accurate, was that Ole Miss looked around after the breakup and after, sending Lane away and saying, if you go to Baton Rouge, you're not allowed to come back, and the whole thing. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. We still have a playoff to play in. We need somebody to coach our team. Like, we don't want Lane to come back, but everybody else, please come back, because they do want to show out in the playoff, because Ole Miss, the institution, Ole Miss, the athletic department, the school, like, they're not going to Baton Rouge. Like, they want to continue to recruit at a high level. So I think, and we had this discussion, is that
I
think
thought if they came back, they might just decide, we love you.
Right.
We still love you.
Listen, getting the closure thing, like everyone, like, hey, come on over. Let's have this conversation one more time. And then maybe there's some, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on this podcast, but I'd say to them, like, maybe some makeup sex happens. And
yeah. Like, oh, it was about what I was about to say myself.
Maybe some like playful cleavage at the coffee shop. Like,
listen,
I don't know,
I don't remember the good times. Was it really so bad? Was it? So, maybe like we got rid of the bad situation. Lane's gone. But no, I do think that there's some truth to that take that Brandon had, was that maybe Ole Miss stepped back and like, okay, you make rash decisions when there are these heated conversations, but there still is something to play for and something major to play for. So we don't want to get rid of everybody. It was Lane's decision to go to LSU. Let's bring back our offensive coordinator. Let's bring back some of the staff to have a successful end of the season.
All right, yoga. We've got Kayce too long anyway. Ari,
no. Listen, I'm enjoying
your yoga stuff.
Oh, Andy, we're telling you. We know, alleged. I know this.
But it's kind of fun to picture, because all I've ever seen from Lane Kiffin in hot yoga is his beautiful V wet sweating after the class. But I thought about looking at, like, how's this man behaving in there? And here's some of the alleged people who took the class. Gonna miss him pushing me over every time I was in a plank and he wasn't doing anything but annoying everybody around him. Gonna miss him turning up the humidity whenever he pleased.
Can you even do that? Are you allowed?
Oh, yeah. Well,
hot yoga.
You can. You're not supposed to, but I would assume if anybody could, Lane could go over to the thermostat. Gotcha. Yes.
And somebody said, why would he continually make somebody go get him his 20-pound weights in the middle of the class every time? Which I think is hilarious. And there's nothing defamatory there. Like, that's just like, because I've done a recent foray into group fitness, and I am terrified that I'm not acting right. So, but what's your tea, Kayce? I'm very curious.
Well, so there was also more that, the girls were coming out on TikTok, which I will say, and maybe it's because I'm old and washed, but like I don't get on TikTok, but I'm told about it. I usually see it when it's on Instagram, but there was a girl in Oxford that said that he would like roll golf balls at people during hot yoga. Now I find it hard to believe he was just packing golf balls. But my tea
people just throw golf balls at him.
That's true. It's a good point. It's a good point. So I have a close girlfriend who is a hot yoga instructor in Baton Rouge.
Wait, hold on. I need to. Does she instruct yoga at a high temperature, or is she an attractive yoga instructor?
Both.
Okay.
So you can imagine that Lane Kiffin would seek her out, or seek this yoga studio out. So this is all allegedly, but he was having a hard time finding a studio in Baton Rouge that was hot enough for him. Okay. The temperature was, and I say hot as temperature, I don't believe it was about the physical attractiveness of the yoga instructors. It was how hot in the room it was, which is why I believe the humidity thing from the girls at Ole Miss. But he ended up finding her studio. And from what I have been told, he has already instructed there be more Kesha in the playlist. And and he has very much made sure that every time he is in the class, that his presence is very well known, and he's very happy there. So it is now, the specific class is Lane's class, and there's a lot of Kesha being played, and the temperature is hot enough in the studio. So I do believe a lot of these stories come, like you said, they're not like bad. They're like negative stories. It's kind of like funny. It's like, the 17-year-old boy that's like flirting with all like the girls in the PE class. Like, that's kind of what it sounds like. But He is happy because there's Kesha being played in Baton Rouge. So go off,
hot
Lane.
yoga was like spa music and like a spiritual thing.
Correct.
I didn't know, like,
Well,
It's
that's
not brushing your teeth with a bottle of Jack, Ari.
yeah. It's it's a little.
Because when we leave for the night, we ain't coming back. Yeah, I know.
And we don't wake up feeling like P Diddy anymore. We wake up saying "fuck P Diddy." So that's that she did change those lyrics. No, I mean Lane is the best thing in the world for what we do when it comes to soap operas and drama, and that's why during the coaching search I was on with Colin Cowherd, and he was like, "Do you think he'd ever go to the NFL?" And I was like, "I think that he would never be allowed to be himself at the NFL level." And as somebody who covers this sport, like we need the Lane Kiffin drama. Like the amount of times I listened to the Ludacris song, like "Who's a Hoe," like turn a hoe into a housewife, solely because of Lane Kiffin that weekend. Like we can't lose this man to the NFL.
That is my favorite Ludacris song, by the way, and I'm so glad that people have finally discovered it and realized that is not Area Codes. Area Codes is a different song.
And Move Bitch, also a different song. I need people to get it together, you know?
And like, is Harbaugh even Harbaugh anymore? Like, he's with the Chargers, but it's just like, he's like, does anybody even talk about him? Like, you have to be in college football to amplify your strangeness.
Your shenanigans, your like to be able to connect to 18 to 23-year-olds. And I know you can play now till you're like 29, you know, Diego Pavia is trying to play till he's 35. You have to have that personality. And so I think it's great. I do 100% love the stuff behind the scenes. If it was happening to my team, I would hate it. Like if I was Ole Miss, I would hate it. You know, LSU is just waiting for heartbreak. You want to talk about breakups. Like that man, I truly believe is waiting for Alabama to eventually come open, and they're going to get left in the dust too, but we'll see. But that's what makes this sport so great, right? You know, that's why like I'm going back to College Station this weekend and getting to see what Mike Elko has built there. And, you know, Johnny's going to be on the sidelines and seeing just everything that surrounds my team. Like that's why college football is the best. Like you guys know that. That's
Kayce,
why
we will see you there. We'll be the ones who haven't slept yet. So just by all means, please just slap us upside the head and wake us up.
We need to get some Fuego. That's what all you need. Just get some Fuego. And then I know, listen, the amount of times my face saw the inside of Fuego at like 3:30 in the morning back in the day is a shame. It's a shameful thing, but I'm proud of it.
There's no shame. Any place that serves you delicious tacos any hour of the day or night is a blessing.
And the fact that they're still as delicious at 3 p.m. as they are at 3 a.m. Like that's a tough balance. And Fuego does it. Shout out Fuego.
First ballot Hall of Famer. Yes. Fuego. If you haven't been to College Station, go to Fuego when you go.
And the Republic too.
That's exactly what you're going to spend more there, but that's okay.
Love you, Billy. and before you go, Kayce, you want to go get him, Ags? Come on, do it with me.
All right, no, I'm not doing it. Say it right. Say it right.
I'm not going to say it right. I said it right.
You didn't say it right.
This is a great hand signal game, by the way. You got the gig 'em, you got the U.
It is true.
It's going to be incredible.
I know my Aggie fans will be pissed at me for saying this, but get your guns up. I'm not going to do it because I don't want the still shot, but get your guns up for Texas Tech's pretty good too. It's a pretty good one. You know, it's
don't ever say it again. See, I'm glad you've been here to discipline him properly. Just like you would your toddler.
His wife, I feel like she should just smack you every time you do it. Like you got to do some reinforcement. You know,
she does.
He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Thank you. He has big feelings. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys this weekend.
Appreciate you.
Ari, now I want to take a hot yoga class with Lane Kiffin. I really do.
Yeah. It would be interesting. I don't know. Has any reporter like ever embedded in like
the
back of the
Yes,
room?
there was a reporter who did that. I wanted to say the Clarion Ledger in Jackson, Mississippi. I believe he did. Yeah.
But I think that Lane wouldn't be Lane if he knew the reporter was back there. I'd like to see it like fly on the
you need the hidden camera. Somebody with the meta glasses in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, it's working. He looks great. You know, say what you want about hot yoga.
I wish I looked like that with my shirt off.
Yeah. You know, what's actually the big benefit of it? I've been thinking to myself, like, I am miserable like 90% of the time with what I'm eating because like I eat like an animal when I'm with you. And then I eat like rabbit food when I'm not. And like, I'm feeling like, what's the difference for me if I weigh 30 more pounds?
I would like to look like that just one day in my life. Like what's to be able to take my shirt off and people like, whoa.
What's the benefit of it? Just that? Do you think that feels better than eating like without restricting yourself every day?
I don't know yet because I haven't ever felt it.
I've never felt it either, but like now
I want to know. Like, just one day. Just one day of my life I want to know.
In my 20s was imperative because I was trying to meet girls. Now, what does it matter? You know, I am what I am, you know?
See, but I was the chubby kid growing up, so I was never the like rocked up in shape guy.
But so was I.
Right.
Like, that's okay. Like, being the chubby kid growing up, I understand that you might have a complex about it. But now, like, when I think about it, like, what are the benefits? Longer life? That's a pretty good benefit, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I already have my girl. I already live it. Like, my life doesn't change.
I still want to do it. Just one day I want to look like an underwear model.
Oh,
It can all go to hell again after that, but I want to do it for one day.
Because, like, we have some friends, actually, that do these body competitions. One of my wife's closest friends from high school does it. And the amount of sacrifice and hell you have to put yourself through to get to a place where you're ripped. And, like, do you know how hard it is to maintain that? Like, even if you get it, like, I think if you go off your, like, regimented rice and dry chicken campaign working out 3 times a day, that, like, your body morphs back to, like, not rocked up.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately.
No,
like, I think you get it for like a week.
Yeah. It's like when you stop landscaping, the nature just takes back over.
Yeah. It's
very
like,
quickly.
To me is your body's way of saying they don't want to be like that. Listen to your body.
Okay. Just one day. Just one day. All right. Before we move on.
A while there, bud. Last year or like a few years ago, like you were.
I never got there, but I never got there. So now I'm working. I'm trying to work my way there. And in one day, and I'll take the picture, I'll post it on the internet, and then I'll be that.
We're booking hotels based on proximity to Terry Black's, which I think is better than being ripped.
I am who I am, Ari. Let's be real. Before we move on to the mailbag, though, we got to talk about our friends at Panini. Exciting new news from Panini. We've talked about the Ohio State hobby boxes. We've opened packs from those Ohio State hobby boxes. They're beautiful, of course. Lots of Ohio State athletes, stars. Well, now there's a new school. Texas hobby boxes are available just in time for the holiday season. Anthony Hill Jr., some guy named Manning, all the best Texas athletes.
That's a beautiful card.
Get their cards. It is a beautiful card. That's the on-campus Arch Manning.
I love the art on those like short printed inserts. They're beautiful.
So you can order those Texas hobby boxes at PaniniAmerica.net. They've also got the Ohio State ones, more schools on the way. And of course, you can buy your Donruss Elite, your Prism, your Luminance, all your favorite products from Panini at PaniniAmerica.net. So go to PaniniAmerica.net to start your collection of your favorite college and NFL stars. And yeah, if you're a Texas fan, get there now because that's a perfect stocking stuffer. A hobby box, Texas cards, that's the way to go. So you can have your loved one ripping packs on Christmas morning. All right, Ari, it is Christmas time. Yeah, you couldn't wait to Christmas morning. You'd be ripping packs the second the box arrived.
40-year-old man sitting underneath a tree, just like opening up gifts at 3:30 in the morning by himself, like scratching his neck. It's great. Yeah.
All right. Got some great questions for the mailbag. The first one comes from Brad. Brad is a longtime listener, friend of a friend, former Georgia football player. Great stories about playing for the Dogs. The Bubba Sparks times. You know Bubba's booty rocking everywhere. Yeah. He was hanging out with the Bulldogs of the mid to late 90s.
I didn't know that, but that's good to know. Yeah, thank you.
So Brad asked this question, and I thought it was really interesting because I covered one of these teams as a beat writer, and I find it fascinating. He said, I'm getting major 2006 vibes from the college football season this year. As a reminder, Michigan and Ohio State were number 1 and number 2 for the majority of the second half of the season in 2006. This was back in the era of the BCS when only 2 teams were eligible to make the national championship game. There was serious national discussion going into the Michigan and Ohio State game that the 2 teams were so much better than everyone else that they should have a rematch in the BCS title game. Ohio State wins a close one by 3. Troy Smith wins the Heisman, and then Ohio State went on to get blasted by Florida in the national championship game. Michigan lost to USC in the bowl game as well. It became clear after bowl season that Michigan and Ohio State weren't as good as we thought, and this was mostly propped up by the very weak depth in the Big Ten that year, likely sprinkled in with some northern media bias. Wisconsin was the only other decent team in the conference, and the rest of the conference was a bunch of easy wins. Fast forward to 2025, where Indiana and Ohio State have been ranked in the top 2 for the entire last half of the season. Unlike 2006, the committee actually kept these 2 teams at number 1 and number 2 after they played a 3-point game. I don't have a problem with their lofty rankings at this point, but I have to wonder whether they're being propped up by incredibly weak depth in the Big 18 this year. Ohio State has only been remotely challenged twice with a still developing Texas and against Indiana. Am I crazy to think that both these teams might not be near as dominant as most people think, and they're simply a product of a weak Big 18? Obviously, Ohio State has lots of NFL talent and is the defending champ, and Indiana has been crushing lesser teams, as you'd expect a really good team to do. I'm just curious if anyone else is getting 2006 vibes this year. Love the show.
Great
Thanks.
show. Great question, because it's like literally the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I covered the Florida team as a beat writer that year, and I bought the whole Ohio State and Michigan are better than everybody else. And I remember, and I've said this a bunch of times, like me and Dave Curtis, who was the Orlando Sentinel beat writer at the time, were sitting next to each other in the press box at the SEC championship game. Florida beats Arkansas, and we're pretty sure Florida's going to be number 2 in the BCS standings the next day. And we're like, how are these guys playing for the national title? They're not that good. Like, Florida had lost to Auburn. They needed the Jarvis Moss blocked kick to beat South Carolina. Like, they lived dangerously a lot of that season and didn't feel like a dominant team. And then they get to the Ohio State game and just annihilated them. And I've been told by people on that staff, like a guy I know who was a graduate assistant on that staff, was responsible for getting the DVDs from the other team. And so he gets the DVDs of Ohio State, and he had them the night before. He had to turn them over to the rest of the staff in the morning. And so he watched them all, and he comes in with the DVDs and sets them on the table with the staff in the meeting and goes, "Congratulations, boys, we're winning the national title." Like they knew just from watching film that Ohio State was going to have no chance.
Yeah. So my dad had a long, illustrious career in the insurance business. And at the time in 2006, he worked at Allstate. Allstate was a title sponsor of the BCS National Championship game, as you remember the end zone nets.
Yep. Still a big-time sponsor in college football.
We got 4 tickets to that game.
Yeah.
And we were offered, I think, $6,000. And we didn't sell them for 2 reasons.
It was really Ohio State heavy, the crowd, if I remember correctly, because they were a 7.5-point favorite in the game, but it felt like they were a bigger favorite.
And Ohio State fans just thought they were going to win, so they were like wanting to pay because you want to see the title. Like that's like a bucket list thing for a lot of people. And my dad's like, "Well, probably be a bad look to sell company seats and all that stuff." So we go in. My dad left the game at halftime, like went outside to smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
And he didn't get let back in, and he didn't miss anything. So
he didn't miss anything. Yeah, it was over.
It was, and I don't know, like there's so much, like I don't even think if Ted Ginn didn't get hurt on the opening kickoff, it would have mattered.
No,
like,
I mean, Jarvis Moss actually created the whole SEC aura at his locker after that game when he said there were 5 better teams we played in the SEC this year. And that 5 may have been exaggerating a little bit, but like the Auburn team that beat them was probably better than that Ohio State team. And as Brad points out, that USC team that didn't make the national title game, that lost to UCLA in the final week of the season, was way better than Michigan, and probably better than Ohio State, and might have, like, that Florida team against that USC team might have been the best title game matchup that year.
Yeah. And I think people are also forgetting, too, that Ohio State 06 team was not as good as the 05 team at the end of the year.
Right.
Like the team before it was better. So anyway, let's spring it forward, though.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any of that this year?
I think it's possible, and only really because of the way the bracket shook out. So Indiana gets the winner of Alabama, Oklahoma. I actually think Indiana's in a pretty good spot because they're going to get a team that can't run the ball. And I struggle to find a way for a team that can't run the ball to beat Indiana. Now, obviously, Indiana would have to play Oregon or Texas Tech in the semis. But at that point, everybody's really good. So that one, I think they're in better position than Ohio State. I think Ohio State got the toughest draw. I think Ohio State probably sat there when the bracket came out and said, "Holy crap, either team we're going to see is built to win this whole thing."
Yeah. I was going to make an outrageous prediction before the playoff bracket reveal that there would be no SEC teams in the semis, but now it's impossible because Georgia and Ole Miss will play each other for a spot in the semis.
Yeah.
I'm very curious if like my perception of this entire season is just wrong. And like we just get like a Alabama Georgia.
That's exactly what happened in 06.
Yeah.
And I think it went the other way where then we assumed the SEC was better. And I think, when you get Michigan winning the national title, then you get Ohio State winning the national title. And now it's a little bit back the other direction.
The SEC starting in 06 started a 15-year run where they were better. Like that's not a narrative. That was a fact. And I think that like we started to realize at that time that the Big Ten and the way that they were doing things wasn't nearly as passionate, and the geographical advantages that the SEC had were certainly playing factors because that's when traditional recruiting was mattering the most. And like there were more programs in the SEC that wanted to win at a high level, which then made iron sharpen iron for coach speak's sake. And there was just better teams. Like for 15 years, like they were a better conference from top to bottom. Now, I don't know if that's the case. The question I think you could just translate to is the SEC so good and deeper than the Big Ten that we have undervalued Georgia and Bama, or maybe even Ole Miss to the same extent?
I don't think we've undervalued Bama, but I think Georgia is certainly capable of winning the whole thing.
Yeah. So yeah, like I think it would be interesting. Wouldn't it be crazy, like if A&M and Georgia or A&M and Ole Miss played, and there was no Big Ten representative, and then Alabama
but Miami could be. See, I look at Miami and A&M as very similar animals.
Yeah. That said, like my viewpoint of Ohio State isn't necessarily predicated on their resume. It's predicated on the players on their team.
It's on their talent, right? Ohio State is clearly the most talented team in the field. I don't think there's any debate over that. I think you're probably just trying to be argumentative if you think there's somebody more talented than Ohio State.
But I wonder if Ohio State is, I don't like watch comic book movies, but I have seen like clips of like a big like rock formation that's like larger than a city. And
then,
like,
Ohio State's Thanos or Galactus or
whatever,
somebody.
And then if you throw a rock,
you should be able to eat a planet,
and then it falls over. Like I don't know, like if Ohio State's offensive line and lack of explosive play making ability in the run game is going to cost them. Like, I wonder if there's like a way, like if Indiana gave you the blueprint. Because they only scored 10 points, Andy. And like, I know they had 2 long drives, but they scored 10 points in the Big Ten championship game.
Right. And Indiana has a very good defense, but Miami's talented on defense. A&M's talented on defense. Georgia's talented on defense. Ole Miss, probably not as dominant a defense, but can score with you plenty, can score on your defense. So yeah, I think Brad's point is very well taken, and I'm glad that there's a 12-team playoff because this will allow us to find out the truth. Because what we said about 2006 is, yes, obviously Michigan and Ohio State were overrated, but like, what if USC had gotten a chance?
Yeah.
USC didn't even get a chance.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it would have been more fun that way. But I'm with Brad. I think we're going to learn quite a bit Friday, Saturday, and then when we get to New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So I'm very excited for it. Next question, Ari, from Steve in San Antonio. I've been listening / watching for a very long time now. No question here, but I just wanted to give it up to Mr. Wasserman for saying the funniest and most annoying things I've ever heard him say, and both on one show, which would be Tuesday's show. When discussing Kalen DeBoer in Michigan, Ari said, "This is a normal dude. He's not a robot. He's not programmed to be a liar and live in a world of deceit so that he can get every last inch of money possible."
This is a normal dude. Okay.
Yes.
Like
he's not Nick Saban.
He's not a robot. He's not programmed to be a liar and like live in a world of deceit so that he can like get every last inch of money possible.
And Steve says, in this insane college football world of the likes of Sharon, Petrino, Lane, and Freeze, that is really high praise. And I agree. It is very high praise. And
he's not programmed to be a liar and like live in a world of deceit.
Yeah. It's a good line.
You would read in a trailer or hear in a trailer of a Batman movie.
And you don't even watch those movies. Yeah. All right. Steve in San Antonio says, your most annoying is, go get him, Ags. And I got to say, I wanted to do this question now. After you said that to Casey, And the look of disgust on her face when you said that.
Because I think that there's a confusion too, because they're like, do you actually think there's no, like, does he know they're saying gig 'em? Like whenever you say it to an Aggie, I think they think that you're mistaken, that you don't know what gig 'em is.
Somebody emailed me and said, you're like the guy in the commercial who says high tide to the Alabama players.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like that guy.
That's not something to be proud of.
Andy, everybody who's not an Aggie hears what I hear. That's what they hear. Whether they say it or not, that's one thing. That's what they hear. And you're not allowed to do that, right? Somebody like emailed me and said, would you respectfully stop doing that because you didn't graduate from A&M and it's a sign of disrespect? And I didn't realize that. And I still do it, and I'm sorry. Yeah.
I've had a whole pitcher of beer. Just because I didn't put my class ring in it doesn't change that. So I respect your cult, my culture is not your costume from the Aggies.
Yeah.
Because your costumes are pretty ridiculous. So
yeah. And this is a college football show and we're just having a good time. We're all having fun. My wife is 4'11" and has watched maybe one total quarter of football in the last 3 years. And
it was the Texas game this year. So she was pretty miserable.
Watched the Texas game at the end of the year. And then she like gets in front of the mirror before bed and she goes, whoop. And I think it's cute. So like, hey, whoop.
But she can do it because she went to Texas A&M.
Yeah.
She graduated.
But yeah,
she's dunked her Aggie ring. All right.
Yeah. I don't know where that is. I think she bought one and I don't think we know where it is. Is that that's like a real?
I don't think I'd admit to that.
Yeah. It's in the house somewhere. But we have to find that.
I have a ring from my college days, Ari.
You do. You should wear that around more often.
I didn't buy it.
And you live in the town where people will be like, "Oh my god, wait, no, you wear the national title ring."
Yeah, but it's actually a lot smaller than the ones they have now. So I don't know if it would be recognized as one of those because now they look like ashtrays.
I think you should wear it more often.
Yeah,
I think you should wear it to the national title game.
I will not, but.
You'll be more likely to get a spot on ESPN's College Game Day or something if you had you're a former player. Like that's.
I don't think so. I don't think so. You have to be a good former player. You have to have actually played, not just been a tackling dummy. All right, this is the question I've been meaning to get to. We're going to leave you guys with this. We're going to send you off to the playoff games with this question. It's from Marshall, and it is one of the toughest questions we've ever been asked. I am a 27-year-old born and raised diehard Aggie, and I have found myself in quite the predicament. My girlfriend and I have been dating for a little over a year and a half, and her extended family has decided to celebrate Christmas on December 20th, starting at 2 p.m., a.k.a. during the fourth quarter of the biggest Aggie game of my lifetime. I am traveling several hours to be there. Obviously, I have to be there, and I'm happy to spend time with them, but the timing isn't exactly ideal. My girlfriend is also an Aggie, but her family is not. So I have no idea if they will have the game on TV or not. I can't really ask them to put the game on TV because I don't want to make the day about me. I've been told we'll be eating lunch at 2 p.m. when everyone arrives, so I can't just show up late after the game has ended. Do you guys have any tips on how to navigate the fine line of trying to stream the game if it's not on TV, but also being involved in the family gathering so my girlfriend and her family don't lose all respect for me? Do I fake a large bowel movement and run to the bathroom for the last 20 minutes of the game? Do I get my Aggie girlfriend to try to get the game on TV? Am I just screwed no matter what? Thanks for being my diary. Love the show. Okay, Marshall, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
This is easy.
This is a test for you. You are the one. You think you're the one being tested. You're not the one being tested here. You are testing the in-laws here. If you walk into that house and there's a massive college football game that is happening and it's not on their television, you don't really want to marry into the family. And I realize you may love your girlfriend and you may think she's awesome, but either she needs to quit that family or you need to find somebody else because you want people who are, I don't know, respectable, fun to be around. Like if there's a giant college football game on TV, if you walk into my house, the game will be on because we're normal people.
Yeah.
And frankly, I don't want to associate with anybody and I don't care if it's your team's game and I don't care if it's your rival's game.
Yeah. It's like not having the Super Bowl on.
Yeah. What's wrong with these people if they don't have the game on TV? Like, oh, it's a fancy Christmas dinner. So what? Put the game on.
Yeah. I think that if your girlfriend is an Aggie, that they should at least have some general understanding of like how important football is to the people who went to the school, and that it's their first playoff game ever. And like, I think it should be an understandable thing. But here would be my advice to you. And I don't know how close you are with the future in-laws yet. I would send a text to the mother, not the father, and just say, hey, thank you so much for the invitation. I'm really looking forward to spending time with you guys, and I'm so grateful to be included. Texas A&M is playing in their first playoff game in my lifetime ever. It's an important game, and around 2 p.m. is at the end of it. Is there any possible way that we can have the game on in the background while we're eating? Is that out of bounds?
It's not out of bounds. And here's the thing. If the mom says, oh, Shug, bless your heart, we always have the biggest football game on, you should probably propose at dinner.
Yeah. Propose at dinner.
Propose at dinner. If the mom responds with, how dare you ask that we turn on our television during our sacred Christmas dinner? Well, that's when you tell your girlfriend you're going out for cigarettes and don't come back.
Here's one other piece of advice, and you can do it from Ari's playbook. When I was in college, I spilled grape juice on my brand new MacBook Pro. Grape juice was the most hilarious thing to spill on and break a computer.
It's like purple grape juice. We're not talking about white grape juice.
We're talking like Welch's grape juice. It's a brand new computer. I had my girlfriend call my dad and say, hey, Mr. Wasserman, I've got some bad news. And before she was
so your dad's thinking, oh my God, he's gotten someone pregnant.
That's not what he's thinking. That's what he says. Oh my God, you're not effing pregnant, are you? And then she said, oh, no. Already spilled grape juice on his laptop. And he's, oh, thank God. All right, we'll get him another computer. And it worked out great because it went from like maybe.
You are one of the most devious, diabolical people I've ever met in my life.
I didn't think about it that way. It worked out well. But
you might be pure evil. You might be.
No, because I didn't. It would be evil if I knew it, because if I thought ahead, he's going to think she's pregnant. I didn't think that. But I put my girlfriend on. You
instinctually thought, like your instincts told you that. You didn't have to think it. You're that diabolical of a human being that your instincts were to create a path for your dad to think your girlfriend was pregnant, so that when all he had to do was buy you a new laptop because you just spilled grape juice on yours, he's like, oh, whew.
Yeah, and it was hilarious because like they had only met her one time, and this is how he's speaking to her. That was his like gut feeling at the moment.
Bob Wasserman, I don't know how you've survived this long. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, and by the way, I haven't seen that girl in 15 years, but I hope she's doing okay. Andy, which brings me to the point though. Throw your girlfriend on the beach. Let her take the beach. Why don't you just say, hey, this is important to me, sweetheart. I know we're going to hang out with your parents. I know you're interested in. There's no way that they went to A&M. I don't care if you're into sports. Like my wife is not into sports. She still asks me if the Aggies won every Saturday. So like, just have her do it. Just be like, hey, babe, will you ask your parents if they can throw the game on for us and just say it's important to you? And she'll be like, yeah, no problem. And then your problem solved. And at the very least, you always have fake diarrhea. And you have YouTube TV on your phone, like that. That's the stopgap.
As producer River texted us, Marshall has experienced 26 Christmases in his lifetime. He's experienced 0 Texas A&M playoff games to this point.
But I understand.
This matters.
I understand. It really matters to make a good impression on your in-laws, and I know that's important. So, like, I get the angst. The thing that I don't know is if you're arriving at 2 p.m., does that mean like you're driving during the game? Like I don't know where you're traveling.
I thought about that too. Like I have so many. Like
you're gonna miss the first half.
Stressing thinking for Marshall. Yeah, I'm stressing for Marshall here because does that mean you're going to have to listen to it in the car on the way? Like, no, you should not have to deal with this. Like your girlfriend should not be putting you through this. Your girlfriend's family should not be putting you through this. Like when the game got announced as an 11 a.m. local kickoff, everybody's plans should have changed.
Or like, can we just have dinner at 3?
Yeah.
Is it really that big of a deal to have dinner an hour later?
I mean, in my family would be like, that's during the Ole Miss Tulane game. What are we doing here?
Yeah. Andy, I know Thanksgiving is always like a weird dinner time. 2, 3, 4 p.m. People have it in the middle of the day. Is that how Christmas dinner is too?
It depends on the family, but yeah, can be.
Okay. It's like 3
o'clock. But here's the thing. Like every major holiday in my house, whether it was my family, my wife's family, the football games are just on. Like it's part of the celebration.
You heard Mario Cristobal earlier this week. They asked him how he's going to manage all the things that he has to do between preparing for playoff games and portal and stuff. And he said, cancel Christmas. Cancel it. Cancel Christmas. And I'm the one who said you should move Christmas on the calendar to make it better for football.
There you go. People have their priorities in it. But no, celebrate Christmas, enjoy Christmas. But remember, there's nothing shameful. There's nothing sacrilegious about having a football game on in the background. And if you're the type of person who thinks that would be rude, or that someone at your house asking for that is rude, I would suggest you're the problem.
And if Texas A&M loses, I think the biggest thing for you is don't be an asshole for the rest of the day. Don't
be in the jar. Yeah.
Don't watch the game and don't react or yell or do anything. Just, try to keep your composure. And if they win, you can go into the bathroom and scream into a towel. And if they lose, you can go into the bathroom and scream into a towel and then watch it and be a good, present person for the rest of the day.
And then just pull out your BetMGM app and sprinkle some on Ole Miss or Tulane, whatever side of that 17.5 you want to be on, and let's go.
And ride.
Marshall, I love you. Thank you. I'm rooting for you this weekend. And I'm really hoping that when you walk in, that game is on the air. And if it is,
then let us know how it goes.
One knee. Propose. You found your people. Guys, the next time you see us, we'll be in Norman, Oklahoma. We'll have one quarterfinal matchup set. Either Alabama or Oklahoma will have won, and either Alabama or Oklahoma will have lost. High stakes college football playoff. It is time. Let's go. Playoffs. We're here. We made it. Love you, Marshall.
Go get a bags.